welcome to a Token Cast review. I'm your host and sometimes referee, Zach Stat Pearson. And today I'm joined by the king of all witches, despite him being a witcher, one Witch King.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Shit. Alright, so I really don't think I need to do any long drawn out introduction. You saw the title of this video. So let's all just not bullshit. First and foremost, I want to say this point blank. Stereotyping a show because you hear the synopsis is fucking stupid. If there ever was a show that wasn't given a chance and is beloved by the people who actually paid attention to what they were reading and watching, such as but not limited to stuff like Firefly, Star Trek Enterprise, Blade Runner 2049, Y the Last Man found its way to have a seat. Y the Last Man is a critically acclaimed comic book series that once upon a time you couldn't go nowhere without seeing. You couldn't go nowhere without seeing. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, before it came out, woke bullshit, hatred, hatred, hatred. After it came out, haha, you got canceled for woke bullshit, hatred, hatred, hatred. Now, I know this is a rhetorical question, and even though it's rhetorical, I'm pretty sure I know the answer to it. It's usually GOP stereotypes trying to pretend like shit that they say is an actual confirmed objective fact. But who decided something that's supposed to be woke is somehow a negative or a stigma? Also, the show's not actually woke. It doesn't need to be woke. The show's not sleep either. It's a story based on a comic book trying to do the comic book justice. But, and I can say this just because the internet is the way the internet is, and you know how we can't have nice things. This show got lambasted before it came out. It got lambasted after it came out by people who not only are not any form of proper unbiased critics, but are obsessed with wholeheartedly stereotyping the entirety of the concept of female-led casting. Like, I genuinely hate when things are ruined because someone who doesn't want to admit, hey, I'm a sexist pig, or I oftentimes think and act like a sexist pig and say things that have no actual factual backup, are true. I could name at least 16, and I'm not joking, 16 fucking people on YouTube who just decided, fuck this show, never saw it, don't even really know it's based off a goddamn comic book written by a man and a woman, and just said, you know what, it's gonna be trash because it wants to hate on men. Also, it doesn't. But, you know, I'm not gonna say some bullshit like, there's enough hate anywhere, we don't need more hate bullshit. No, there's not enough hate. And I've been saying that for a very long time. Imagine how peaceful the world would be if we hated that homelessness was a thing. We literally got together, built 3D printed houses, help people get mental stability. Imagine if we hated a corrupt healthcare system and we could get free healthcare. Imagine if we hated dirty cops. Well, they might get shot, but we wouldn't have to worry about them as much, is what I'm getting at. Because people bond together over the things that they hate and try to eradicate it. Child hunger, cancer, these are things we don't like. But no. Like the wings of Icarus, it melted before it even got too close to the sun. And that's the sad part. There wasn't even a golden era. It just went, oh, it's coming out. Man, fuck this show. Yeah, they hate men. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to this YouTube fuckboy who don't know shit. Yeah, yeah. And here we
Yeah,
go.
it's definitely, yeah. Like, no, it's very true that, like, it's just unfortunate that, like, a show like this, it got hated on as much as it did. Because, like, you know, I went into it, you know, you told me about it, and, you know, first I was like, okay, I'm going to go into this and have an open mind. That's what I do. But I'm looking for those kind of red flag things of just like, men are trash, men are pigs, woman power.
Basically, the
Just to
shitty Charlie's Angels movie.
just to like an over the top level that just tries to shit on the entire male gender. Like I was going into it like, okay, I'm gonna see what it is, but I'm gonna look out for those things. Um,
Hey,
because to me it's just
hold on
not
a
good
second.
storytelling.
I'm going to pause the recorder. Don't worry, you're fine. I'm just gonna get us some more bandwidth real quick.
Yeah, so I went into watching the show with, just seeing what it was about, very interesting because I see a lot of times in movie medias where they try to make strong female characters by trying to make men just these bumbling idiots or these just poorly written characters or
AKA the last Charlie's Angel movie.
I did not see that one, but yeah, I mean there's plenty of situations like that. But so, I don't like that media. Like I grew up and I've seen many strong female characters in movies, Amanda Ripley from the Alien movies, like amazing female character, Princess Leia in Star Wars, um, Sarah Connor in The Terminator. Like I grew up and granted they were like all those films were like technically before my time, but I grew up watching them because they're movies my dad liked. And those have strong female characters in them. And I've seen a lot nowadays where they try to like, oh well, strong female character by having them as Mary Sue's, where there's just nothing wrong with them, and the men are just idiots all the time. And I didn't want Y to be that, and it has the potential to be that, where it's just like oh, there's one guy left and he's just an idiot. Which, to be fair, he is an idiot,
Yeah,
but he's a
he
well
learned
done
to
idiot.
grow out of it. He had character development.
Yeah, he was a spoiled brat, and he is about what I would see an entitled millennial spoiled brat to be like. I'm going to be a magician and just really bad. I'm going to do the things I want to do and not actually have to worry about anything because mommy and daddy pays for all this stuff. Like he is a realistic character. He is a realistic person.
Dude, we got an investor like that. He's very realistic. Of course, I'm going to leave that part out of the video when I put it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though like. He is kind of just this, he is a very spoiled person. He's a very, he's not together. He's not mature. He's not grown up. It's not the main focal point to like try to bring up the other characters in the film, which all the other characters are women. They're all well done, strong women and different lines. Like there's the group of just, the kind of cult group going where we hate men.
Oh, cool. Yeah, they get mentioned in one episode. Oh, you mean the actual... Okay, so it's weird how they did it, but there's basically 3 fractions of fuck all men. The first one, they're just assholes in the background. Nobody likes them and everyone wants them dead. They go around blowing up sperm banks, but they only mention it for like 40 seconds in the actual, in the first episode. You're talking about the actual quote unquote crazy bastards that are from, the actual game. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the IMDb so we can, get their names. I think I forgot the character's name because I just kept thinking she is fucking crazy, and I called her the fucking crazy chick, but I know that's not a character name.
And I mean, I like the fact that they saw motivation. They showed you. Yeah, like they gave her purpose, like why she is that way, which I truly enjoy. It's just like, yeah, she worked at a shitty place, and it was the sexual harassment workplace of them all. Like guys just doing whatever. The girls are getting in trouble for stupid shit. Like that entire scene though was like over the top. It's like, all right, you know what? I can see this like actually being a place like this. And, I get why she probably hates men. Like, not all men are like that, but I see why she's envious towards them. You know what? I get it.
Like, she is a victim of circumstances. The problem is that she did the worst thing a victim of circumstances can do. You become corrupted by your abuser. And unfortunately, I've seen it happen a billion times over.
Yeah. And it's just, like, dragged a whole bunch of, like, other women trying to find direction and purpose and just suck them into her thing. And I think the scenes with her trying to, with the sister of Y, I forget her name.
Yo, you literally have the IMDb in the text. Just click it and start looking. The cast is right at the top of the page.
I don't have the IMDb up.
Bro, look in the chat text. I gave you the link to the wiki and the IMDb. Let's see. So
I'm on the text page. I'm on the texting page.
Olivia Thirlby. That's the actor who plays Hero Brown, Yorick's sister.
Yeah, right, Hero. I like the scene where they're like having this whole like round, like, this guy hurt me and men are scum because of this one man. And then she's just like, my brother was nice to me. My dad was fine to me. My mom was actually the one who like made me hate myself and like hate my life. And then the whole time, like, the leader of the group is trying to convince her to, no, your brother never stood up with you in person. Like, did you think he defended you? Like, she's the whole time trying to gaslight her, just like, you just want Hero to like just fall apart and be on your side. That's like, you're gaslighting all these girls, and you see like that's not cool. That's kind of wrong. This place started out as like this like paradise with all these supplies, and now it's just like, wait a minute. So I think those things were very well, excellently done with that. But obviously there's, the other groups that are going around. You have the, the political office, the White House, at the Pentagon, the White House fell. The Pentagon just trying to like make things run, try to do what they can in the country. And there's like, we're just trying to keep as many people alive as possible and try to like get supply chains going and hold on to this system. And I think that's cool because you see on a lot of the like post-apocalyptic movies, like look at The Walking Dead. We're cutting to a month, like a couple months after, like everything is like gone to hell. Like the zombie outbreaks happen and everything's just collapsed and everyone's just in these roving bands of groups. This is where you actually get to see, like, no, some people try to hold on to the government, but all these, like, paranoid, scared people just, like, ruin it. Like, it's going to fall apart, it's going to collapse, and it's cool to actually see a film that addresses, like, this is why the government failed. This is how it happens. Like, they're trying, and then just something happens, and now there is no central government. Now everyone is just off doing their own thing.
Oops.
Which
I think I got the character wrong. Let me see.
Hero's Y's sister. Hero is Y's sister. You were
no. The crazy chick who was literally trying to start her own cult.
I mean, I think she tried to do anything. She succeeded. She completely succeeded.
Yeah, she did, and it worked until it didn't on the last episode. Fuck, I can't find her character. I think it's Missy Pyle is her name. I think it's Missy Pyle. She's on this list right here, but when I go to look up pictures of her or her character, I can't really see which character she played. Oh yeah, it's Missy Pyle. Yeah, I recognize that very skinny face and very unusual, rare nose type. Missy Pyle is the crazy chick who formed the cult. Her character's name is Roxanne. But yeah, okay, so let me ask you something. And I'm just gonna put this up in the chat so there's a chronological order, because we want to discuss things, obviously. Well, one, do you know what I'm gonna say? I'll make the assumption. Why do you want there to be a second season?
I mean, they left off at like a really good note. Like, the central government's fallen, these bands are going, Y is running to his sister, and Y is now just kind of like, come to the realization of like what the real world is, and especially what the real world is now. And he's kind of grown up from like the selfish little child. Like, it wasn't intentional, it was just like he didn't realize what he was doing was like kind of messed up. He came to the realization, like, I don't want to, have people having to die to protect me anymore. he experienced true loss. He wants to be better as a person. I like that. That it's not that, oh, he's a guy, or it's a girl and he's trained by a guy. It's like he's just like, I don't want to be a liability anymore.
Yeah.
You are specially trained on how to do things. I want to learn from you. And the theme of the movie is everyone except for him are women. Um, it's nice because it's not trying to be in your face about
So you essentially
girl power.
want, yeah. So essentially, you want a closed loop. You want the story to be completed because they gained your interest. That's pretty. That's pretty common. I call it cliffhanger syndrome. I don't know what the technical
Yeah.
term is, but that's what I call it. As far as me, I want there to be a second season. Second season. I want there to be a second season for one reason and one reason primarily only. It earned it.
Yeah.
The main things you need to do, and I know it's gonna sound like we're caterwauling in an echo chamber, as some would call it. But the main reason that I know it deserves a second season, because in order to be a good show, you have to meet certain criteria, not just someone's opinion. You have to meet genuine good criteria, and they met everything except for one: viewership. They made a good show on a concept that's as old as dirt, but people fantasize about even to this day. They modernized it and they made it a setting that is not one of direct negativity and connotation. They were ruined through manipulation of influencers, which is it's a proper name for them, but it's also the main reason I fucking hate them. An influencer's job is technically not even to influence. Their job is to influence only when they're paid to do it. Any other time they influence and they're not paid, they're just speaking their fucking opinion. And stupid people are allowed to have opinions, and stupid people can be influencers. Look no further than Joe Rogan and It's a Gundam. Oh, and just so we're clear, no, I don't think It's a Gundam is sexist. He may very well be, but he is an influencer and he is pretty fucking stupid. However, it's YouTube era, so someone will go and say I'm trying to start a flame war for attention. I'm not. I don't even know or care if he actually fucking sees this shit. I just know because I've watched close to 60 hours of video from his channel that there's a thin line between here's my opinion and here's me fucking being an idiot because I think that I'm right. And unfortunately, he ends up in one category more than the other. But I digress. Now, as far as number 2, let me ask you, would you prefer a movie continuation or a series continuation? And why?
Oh no, I absolutely want a series continuation. Like there are like movie series that, or TV series that can have movies, but for a show like this, like I find action movies, like action series can have a really good movie attached to them with one big event, especially with like anime stuff. But TV shows, like especially of this nature, where it's post-apocalyptic, the entertainment is through the interactions between characters, the character development, having these different groups, seeing them. It works well in this series setting, in this episode to episode to episode progression. Like you can do a movie of like The Witcher, which is all action.
I knew you was gonna say that.
Like you could have a movie for The Witcher where something happens and you go through and you fight the big bad evil guy and then you call it a movie. Like there is no big bad evil guy in this. There's no conflict resolution that's going to happen. No big thing. It's just characters interacting with themselves. Characters growing, characters finding new groups, new challenges to overcome. That's not just like a singular person, like the whole challenge of like society and the events happening. So that's why I say series. Like if they want to do a movie, they'd have to do a series first. They have to do another season and have it end like our group of heroes gets to California and a bunch of these other groups, and there's just like a wall of just like a big fortress of what they're trying to get into.
You will enjoy the book.
With all these men hating women in there that don't want the species to progress anymore, and they're like, we're just gonna like do our own thing and interbreed with, you know, when a woman, the men can die. It was good, and like them trying to like do a big out huge battle for this. That would be a movie they could do. But where they're at right now with just the human interactions going on and the character development and progression, not in a place where you can throw a movie. Just like do it at a movie, you know. You need to have action to have a movie good. You need to have some way to resolve it at the end.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. For me personally, it's kind of weird. My answer is almost like a double answer. I want a movie, but I want a series of movies. Okay? That's what I want. Because the higher the budget, or the more consistent the budget is, and the higher it is, the better not so much the episodes can look, because they look pretty good. They're very convincing. But the more characters can be brought in from the comic, and the more things that are, you know, quote unquote action based, the more dynamic they can be. Don't get me wrong, they did some very good shit for what they had there. Agent 355 took out like 8 people. 8 people going across from a church to a forest essentially, in the middle of the night, bumfuck nowhere, and basically only one person got away, or 2 people lived or some shit. Mind you, because she let them live, or didn't want to let them live, I'm gonna leave it ambiguous for those who are trying to watch the shit. That leads to the vast majority of the events that happen for the rest of the season. I call it domino effect writing, or cause and effect. Because such and such made this mistake, or allowed this to happen, or condoned this, later on, everyone has to pay for someone else's mistake. That type of shit. Personally, I think if it was released in a movie format, or a movie series format, we would do great. Like, every 6 months, here's 3 hours, boom. Here's what this faction doing, that faction doing, this faction doing. And then another 6-8 months later, boom. Here's the next 3-hour movie. Here's what everybody's doing. Uh-oh, factions are shrinking because motherfuckers are dying. I think that would be best. Because it's not that they can't find ways to do most of the things in the book. Why the Last Man is very grounded in reality, despite the concept of it. A disease that exclusively targets chromosomes. But Why the Last Man's budget, if increased, could possibly win over those people who didn't want to give a shit about it because they couldn't find anything interesting from the trailers. Also, if it's a movie budget and in movie format, a movie serialization, they might be able to pull some big names. Because one of the other things, I hate to say it, but it's still true to this day, one of the biggest things that can make or break a successful project is there someone who gets attention attached to it? And I'm gonna tell you right now, I only recognized one fucking actor. One fucking actor. And that one actor, despite her being in one of the most popular comedies on Hulu, is in the show the equivalent of less than 15 minutes per episode or something like that, with the exception of the first episode and a few key points. So personally, they need to get some star talent. Like, have Sandra Bullock play somebody. Have Anne Hathaway, because she's practically never doing anything. We all know she's famous, but we can't remember anything she's been in the past 10 years. Have her play somebody. Get people that people recognize. Have Tina Fey show up, for God's sakes. Yeah, it's not a comedy, but I don't care. I think half of the draw for this, half of the problem with the series was that there was no pull. However, FX is known for and has a history of taking people who aren't known and making them known. And I get that that's what they were going for. Look at Archer. You didn't recognize maybe except one character in that show. Now, about half the cast is famous for either being in comedies or just being on Archer and various hosting duties. Then fucking they did shit, what's the other one? Oh yeah, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. All they had was Danny DeVito. All they had. Now look at them. It's one of the most popular comedy shows that has ever existed in North American history. It literally bridges generations. And they only started with Danny DeVito. And that's why I feel like it should have that higher budget and less episodes, but make a movie out of it. All right, moving on. This may be tough. Get the fucking IMDb page open in advance. Who to you is the best character and why?
Best.
Yeah, that one's tough.
Like, in what regards?
In the show.
I mean, I don't have a favorite character. Like, I like the main, the main people focus for different reasons because they're all differently interesting.
Okay, well, tell you what, you can name more than one.
It's like, I'm very curious to see, I'm curious to see how Hero grows. Why with his interaction with the secret agent girl, how they're gonna help each other grow. Like, they're proof of like two very different people growing off of each other. Hero is like this development of, she's been lost in her whole life and she has this horrible thing she did right before this all happened. She literally got out of murder going on. Why in Hero's mom? Nah, she's not. I'm very curious what they're gonna do with her, but she's definitely not up there in terms of interesting favorites. And
bro, I'm only asking you for your favorites.
I definitely say Hero and Y's girlfriend. Hero because I'm very curious to see how she's going to handle everything going forward. And I either want to see her go completely fucking insane, or to become this absolute badass of a character. And Y's girlfriend, just she is
Bro,
no,
you have the IMDb open. You're referring
No,
to...
I don't, because I don't have whatever you posted where. I don't see it.
Oh,
I don't have...
Bro. Look at your screen. Look at your screen. You see
I'm
the
on
picture
the
that
text
I... Okay. And now you see how the layout is on my screen? Do you not see that? How that picture I put up there is? Where it says, okay, this is actually cool?
Show chat. Oh, okay, chat in this room. That would help. I was in the texting page.
There,
I don't know. I don't know how Discord works.
They just added this. I got a notification when I turned on that they just added this. The character's name is Sam Jordan, played by Elliot Fletcher, the trans dude, right?
That's not who I was talking about. But...
You said Hero's boyfriend.
I said Y's girlfriend.
Yorick is his name. Yorick's girlfriend. I believe that's Juliana Canfield as Beth. She's the one who, helped infiltrate the place and screwed everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Juliana Canfield as Beth. The girl he spent most of the shit searching for.
Yeah. I still can't open it up because my mouse just died.
Wow, that's fucking hilarious.
Oh, what's even funnier is the fact that it's plugged in and charging. It just isn't being read by my computer anymore.
So you destroyed the battery internally. Good job. That's kind of funny. Okay, well, if
it just isn't it's just not working.
Okay, well, if you call out anybody else, I'll pull them up on screen for the viewers at home to see.
Those are definitely the two characters I'm most interested in.
Juliana Canfield and Hero Brown.
Yeah.
That name just really does annoy me. Did you not want to say Heroin Brown? You knew you were having a girl, so why did you call her male hero? What the fuck? Then again, their son's name is Yorick, so they own some shit when they name their kids. I mean, hey, they didn't name them a Jane or Jessica or something. They actually put some effort into it, but seriously, they went very old school. Yorick? You don't see no Yoricks unless you really going like deep into Europe or possibly Scotland. Yorick. Okay, now for me, my best characters, and I'm gonna just say this now because someone might assume it. It's not Agent 355. My problem with Agent 355, just a small note, is that we didn't really get enough coherent backstory. They tried to drip feed us and trickle her backstory over the course of, bits and pieces of episode segments. But I'm old school. If you give me some character's backstory, just make half or the full episode about it, so we don't have to come back here over and over and over again. I'm still trying to figure out why in the actual fuck she's even doing what she's doing. I literally don't even understand her motivations until near the end of the series because she changed them. But anyways, that's the type of thing where she was obviously meant to be a character who's fleshed out over seasons. And that's one of the dumb things that Hollywood does. And I say that not in a negative way, but in more of a critiquing way. It's very dumb and presumptuous to assume that you will get a second season. You could have the best show. You could have a high ratings on your show. You could get the most attention. You're not guaranteed a second season. Fun fact, Futurama was technically never canceled the first time it was canceled. It was just on a hiatus that lasted like 4 fucking years. That was stupid. Anyways, my favorites are Yorick Brown. And no, not because he's the only guy, he's cool. He's not. He's really fucking not.
Who was rooting for the males to win? Obvious, just here for male dominance.
I like Yorick because Yorick stopped being stupid and he learned the gravity of the situation he was in, or rather he learned to accept and acknowledge the gravity of the situation he was in. So we were getting character growth into him not being, for lack of a better term, a coddled fucking man-child. Because one of the things that I think people automatically stereotype when they hear the term man-child is that they're an asshole and they think it's okay to be an asshole. First off, there are plenty of children or male children who are not an asshole as children, and there are plenty of people who are assholes as children, got away with it, and they didn't fucking change. They just got quieter about it when they got older. It's fucked up, but it's real, I like Yorick because instead of just saying, I'm going to do what I want to do until I realize, it's time for me to be serious, the cliche way of growing up, he went through trips and bumps. This idiot wanted to do whatever the fuck he wanted to do. Then he wanted to sneak around and be hidden all the time. Then he wanted to actually acknowledge and accept what the role he was potentially going to have. Then he runs the fuck off again by listening to a fucking idiot. Then, excuse me. Then when he realized, oh shit, there are people who are willing to die for me or who would try to murder me. And he realized he needed to be an adult, possibly for the first time in his life. Normally when they do the coming of age story, they're literally in the middle of high school. Yorick is a middle-aged man, or he's at least in his middle 20s. He's in his middle 20s.
Yeah.
And he wasn't so much coddled as was living under a delusional belief. And he had to stop that because his life wasn't just his life anymore. And even though he didn't say those words, he acted like it and he changed how he spoke to people. He went to 355 and said, hey, listen, I understand what you go through. Can you teach me how to defend myself or how to not just be a meat shield or a dead weight for you? I'm sorry, without saying I'm sorry. That's why I respect him, because they took the oldest stereotype in the book and they applied it to an unorthodox type of character, the coming of age story, and I like how they handled it. Now, Nora Brady, I like her because she basically woke up and realized she had to become, for lack of a better term, a tougher person. But she didn't do it in a cruel way. That's why the contrast between Nora Brady, played by Marin Ireland, and Missy Pyle's as Roxanne works. They're two sides of the same coin on some Batman shit. Nora didn't get fucked over by men. She got fucked over by the absence of men. Roxanne got fucked over by men, and she got fucked up by the absence of men, but she tried to look at it as something beneficial. And she did it the worst way possible by trying to spread her delusion. And if you did not conform, you died. And her genuine hatred and disgust of characters like Sam Jordan, by the way, my least favorite character, and no, it has nothing to do with these trans. I just don't fucking like Elliot Fletcher playing Sam Jordan. I'm not gonna get into it because, well, I don't have to. But and then when they finally get into a fight, I won't say who wins. You see Nora Brady's growth and understanding of how the world is. And the other one I like her for the wrong reasons. Is, I don't know if I'm gonna say this right. Jess Salguero. Like, Jess Salguero, first and foremost, she's been in a lot of shows that I just thought was the shit. She didn't really have a lot of lines or roles except for Letterkenny, but she's been in The Boys. She was one of the characters that basically triggered the beginning of the entire series. The Expanse, and she's in Working Moms, right? Mind you, with the exception of Letterkenny, them shits was bit parts. I actually like her. And no, not because she's fucking pretty. Personally, I've never really been into curly hair with blonde tips on it. I can actually have a character. I can actually get into a character who I think is a good actor and their attractiveness not having anything to fucking do with it. And I'm just mentioning that because people know what my proclivities are, which we won't be discussing. But her
not
character,
today, anyway. They'll come up later.
Probably. But because her character, Christina Flores, went from being the right-hand woman of one of the most powerful people, not only so much in the free world, but in the destabilized post-apocalyptic world, trying to hold herself together, and then finding out she's pregnant. Oh yeah. No, small spoiler. Well, here's the thing about that. It's completely irrelevant to the plot, and it's part of her character development. Plus, she's early enough along to where we don't even know what the sex of the child is. So she may give birth to essentially what is the second coming of men. And as we've already established, there are groups in this show who don't like the concept of anybody giving birth to anything male. And she's scared and she's terrified, and she displayed it elegantly. And she's also disturbed by one of her protectors because they're fucking batshit insane and they're only getting worse over time. You get to see a lot of these characters shift in personality or worldview and deeds and actions just based on the story progressing. Some of them have true character development. Nora Brady, Yorick Brown stand out. And some of them realize that they have to change but don't know how, and that's where they're stuck. Christina Flores, and possibly Hero Brown. She really, like that last episode or last two episodes, she really needs to have more screen time because what they did is something called nonverbal communication, and it's okay to do that. But the problem with nonverbal communication during the final episodes or a cliffhanger is that you don't understand truly how your character or the person you're looking at, excuse me, came to the conclusion that they did, because you're expecting the explanation in the next episode, or in some cases season. So yeah, those are my favorites. Now, what are your best moments? And I'm gonna just say this: if you got a lot, keep them short. Don't call off more than 3.
Oh, I mean, obviously the I definitely like the scene where Yorick watches that girl die in front of him when
oh, I'm glad you didn't give names. Yes, that one girl in a show where 99% of the cast is women. Thank you for saying that.
The one he hooked up with the night before. The one he hooked up with the night before.
No. I know what you mean. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm literally thanking you for keeping it ambiguous.
Yeah. I just am terrible with names. I mean, this is a total spoiler warning for this entire show. We've spoiled everything. Like, what am I holding on to at this point?
No, we haven't spoiled shit. We've only spoiled that one character ends up pregnant.
Fair enough. You know, the girl dying in front of Yorick, that was a big moment. So much of the ending stuff, honestly. The last president's daughter, like, believing herself to be the next religious messiah, like, just the insanity behind that starting to happen.
That was the most Marjorie Taylor Greene GOP shit I've ever seen in public media. Bro.
I love it because it's like, it's a different angle. Like, if the entire show had been that, it would have been bad, but it's one person losing their mind.
Bro,
it's one person holding.
That's what I'm saying. Like, some of these characters, they don't actually get character development, which is okay. They just become fucked up versions of themselves. That's cool to me.
To some people, that's character development. Like,
no.
It's evolving just in reverse.
Yeah, I get. Well, I guess we can call it inverted character development, because there's a distinct difference in deed and action, maybe not in grammatics, of a character who changed based on learning something and growing from a trauma, and a character who becomes obsessed with it and warped and fucked up by it. There's a difference between the character development of Jack Napier, who turns into the Joker, and Bruce Wayne, who turns into Batman. They both had character development, but different types. The problem is, I don't think we really have a set name for different types of character development, other than direct and indirect.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying it's a grammatical problem, but I know what you mean and you know what I mean.
Yeah. And finally, the last thing that I think was really big was when the actual person who was supposed to be the president, the one who, like, woke up.
Oh, you mean the Marjorie Taylor Greene insert?
Yeah.
I don't know her name, but that's basically what she was.
I like the few bits that she was on, and especially when she got shot in that face. Like, she's trying to play it's like, I am the president, you will listen to me, like, I have the power, blah, blah, blah. She gets fucking shot in the face. Just straight up. Like, yeah, this is what you get. Like, when you want to play the fool, and you don't have the normal, like, protection and controls that were in place before the world literally went to hell, congratulations, you fucked around and you found out. Still there?
No, I am. I was just laughing.
like for fucking real. Like, God, like the number of times you just see somebody.
Here's the funny part to me. Here's the funny part to me about that, though. When I saw that one part where all hell broke loose and people were shooting and she was hiding and everyone else was like, I'm not going to fuck out there. I'm not going to fuck out there. I was like, man, I hope that bitch go out there talking shit like she run things and she get lit up. And that's literally what happened.
That's what happened. Like, yes. Because how many times have you seen somebody who's got, like, layers and layers of, like, security and protection, like,
and they can't fight for shit. They a blob, fat ass.
Yeah, they're like, they don't realize that, like, bro, the only thing keeping you safe right now is I either don't want to die myself or go to prison. Guess what? Those rules are fucking gone.
Yeah, that's the problem with people who have hypothetical power too much. I've seen it a billion times. When people get hypothetical power too much, they fucking don't realize that they can get dusted up. Like, that's what made I don't know if you remember, but a long, long time ago, you may not even been old enough to have watched it, but a long, long time ago, Robot Chicken did a sketch about the guy who basically turned Pluto into a dwarf planet. That bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And it was basically him going through society, causing chaos, saying he can do whatever he wants to because he had the power to shrink a planet. And then he gets shot at the end, and they said something like, well, he had theoretical power. And I was like, man, that's some accurate shit, even though it's a cartoon. Theoretical power, people sometimes forget that's it for you.
Yeah, like yeah. I have this title which means no. That means nothing. Literally means nothing. There is a literal gun in your face And look around, you fucked around and you found out. It was like, holy shit, yes.
Bro, like, yeah, when she died, I was literally like jumping from joy. I was like, oh, thank God she's not gonna be in season 2. Like, don't get me wrong.
She came in thinking like, you know, so I'd say it's for sexism reasons, you know, we're talking about women and stuff, but for us guys, we know this terminology. She came in like she was the big dick in the locker room. And then someone showed up with a bigger dick and said, fuck you too.
Yeah. And their dick went through their brain. Bro, like, I know everybody pushes in my
that should not be included.
And agree to disagree. Bro, I just like how there's so many people online who will shit on this show, haven't seen it, talk about all it is a stereotype, empowering women and shit. And, you know, women are, and you know, have a bunch of egotistical women doing fucked up sociopathic like shit and getting away with it because of how they wrote the show. That was the most realistic thing that happened in the show. And it was basically a GOP Marjorie Taylor Greene insert. Even though technically that character exists before the world knew about Marjorie Taylor Greene, unfortunately. And I'm just sitting up here like, I can't tell them apart. I'm like, if Marjorie Taylor Greene was in this world, this is who she would be.
I mean, I really do truly think that this is the type of show that and type of characters writing and world building. I just think the series as a whole is actually a very, very empowering thing for the feminist group and the LGBTQ plus community. Like, they're well done characters, they're well made stories, they're well done interactions, they're real, they're accurate.
And it's not even like 90% of the story. The story was never centered around them. It was always technically centered around Yorick, but you know, the internet and idiots had to fuck everything up.
No, and how many times in movies have you seen, like, you know, and I'm going to say it's intentionally this way for what they try to do, the gay character, the woman power character.
It's like, literally on tropes.com how bad it is.
They shove it in your face that, like, this is a gay character. Bro, I could have seen him making out in one scene with another dude and not care. And, like, cool, he's gay and we're moving on. You know, with the actual story of the movie, like, when you bring specific intention to the gender preference or sexual orientation of a character in a way that's like, hey, look at this character, they're gay. You've undermined your argument to this, or if you've made other characters lesser to make a female character better, you're not helping your argument, you're not helping your community. Yeah, and that's what I really like about this is these are real characters.
It's a good show. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, this is one of the things I've been saying, and this is why I kind of like being an egalitarian, but this is one of the things that people don't think is real until I tell them, like, there are people who've been wanting to and have written gay, straight, lesbian, bisexual, LGBT plus. I'm just gonna say plus because look, there's more numbers and letters getting added all the time. I can't keep up with that shit. LGBT plus characters who are straight all the fucking time. There used to be a trope where either A, if they were trans, they were some form of psychopathic murderer based off a guy who wasn't actually trans and was a psychopathic murderer and who liked wearing women's skin. I shit you not, that's how far back it goes. It's really creepy. And it had nothing to do with them, but they were stuck with the stigma. And
I've seen The Silence of the Lambs. I've seen The Silence of the Lambs. It's a classic.
That's kind of what, no, well, not that, but that's where they got the idea from. From that actual person, that's where the character was derived from. But anyways, it's still more frightening to know that there was somebody really like that. But then there's also the writers who are in the closet or who aren't in the closet, who are been writing for mainstream TV. And when they show a gay or lesbian character, it's a common belief that your show would immediately come to an end, or it will be met with cancellations and people review bombing it. And this is back in the 90s. So the character could only exist for 1 or 2 episodes, or they had to die in the same episode they showed up, which is where we got the gay death stereotype from. It's a real thing too. It's fucked up, but that's how it was back then. So
it's really funny because it's such an American thing too about all of this. Like if you go over, you see European, like British, you know, television shows and stuff. Like it's just part of the movie. Like it's part of the shows you watch that this stuff is acceptable. It's an at least from what I've seen, American media, that it's this big fucking thing.
Of
that
course it is, because we have one of the weirdest, and I say dumbest, entertainment celebrity medias in the world. And I mean that as someone who's actually sat down and looked at media from other countries of high profile celebrities. We are one of the, I don't know about the other places, I'm not going to pretend to, but we live in a country where conservatives and people obsessed with GOP media who live, eat, shit, and breathe Fox News can be the producers for Hollywood shows that are about respecting and getting the civil rights for the LGBT community, while these same people are going and voting on people who want to remove their rights or dehumanize the fact that they dehumanize them for having a different sexuality, and then parade themselves as, oh, I just think differently, when they're actually homophobic. Looking at you, fucking Tulsi Gabbard, especially after the shit you pulled today. Talking about, and because she used to think about, she was actually actively trying to get, shock therapy instead of for trans people and shit. Like, Tulsi Gabbard is a human fucking scum. She pretty, but she human fucking scum. And she could go into a restaurant and hang out with high-ranking members and CEOs of Disney, not saying she does, of Activision or Paramount Pictures, Touchstone Films, Icon, Fox Films, Fox 21st Century, all this shit. But those same people will give Seth MacFarlane money, who's been saying since the 90s, Fox is full of homophobic, racist, and anti-LGBT plus assholes, and he makes sure his characters are not, or do not act like that, or if they do act like assholes, that there's an episode where they learn their lesson so they don't fucking stay that way. And it's just crazy to think about it, but that's how shit is. And it's really, really fucked up. The dude who made Trump famous, literally the dude who made Trump famous, if memory serves, the guy who also created CNN, well, guess what? He also created Cartoon Network. And by extension, Adult Swim. And by extension, published and produced The Boondocks. Well, Sony did a lot of heavy lifting, but you get what I mean. Like, everybody who hates everyone in Hollywood is connected at the spine. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
But that's just one of those weird things. Okay, do you have any other best moments?
No, I think those ones are her getting shot in the face. Yeah,
Still funny.
Just fucking yeah.
Okay,
No, I think those are those ending bits and that, like, really those ending bits at the very, very end were really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that up, but I'm gonna try to be ambiguous with it too. So for me, my best moments are, they're not few and far between, but I want to whittle them down so I don't, inflate this video with uneven talk on my end. But real talk, the ending fight, the whole entirety of the ending action sequence of the last episode. Am I going to go into details? No, but I'm going to tell you this right now. You got to see what happens when you fucked around and found out on a massive scale. Because when Don't Give a Fuck runs into I Will Fuck You Up, there can only be one winner.
Yeah, it literally came down to just, oh, we've been going around fucking up these people and doing all this shit, and then congratulations, you came around people who straight up were doing this before the world went to hell. Good for you.
Yeah, I can't tell you who they are or what they're called, but essentially everything that just came out of Witch King's mouth is correct. We found out what happens when an unstoppable idiot meets an immovable I will fuck you up, and the I will fuck you up run, and to the point where people had to surrender just to stay alive. However, the best part to me after that is the aftermath too, because one thing I wanted to happen since the second or third episode of this character being revealed happened. I won't spoil it for you, but let's just say not everybody who started the season is gonna end the season. And this particular person got killed by someone who feared murder and death. That's the best part. They changed into a way where they understood that there needed to be a level and element of ruthlessness to get by.
I respect any TV show or series or movie or whatever that makes a character that I fucking hate. Not because they're a bad character. I can hate a character because they're a badly done character. No, you made a character so good in their personality, I fucking hate them.
Yes,
and I love when shows do that. It's like, I fucking hate you. I understand your motivation.
Get fucked up.
But fuck you. You're a terrible person. I hope you die, and then they die, and I'm happy.
Yes. And for the record, we're not talking about the MTG insert again. This character is someone completely different. But here's the thing. That's tail end shit. Now let's go to the beginning and the middle. One of my favorite moments is, again, this goes into my favorite character. Pulling up her name again. Christina Flores, played by Jess Salguero. Oh, man. Oh, sorry. I was thinking about her legs again. All right, so Jess Salguero's character starts off basically almost like a surrogate daughter for the president. And through the course of every single trials and tribulation, because every single thing that happens in the show, essentially, she's one of the few characters who knows about it, or we get to see her have an emotional or a written scripted reaction to it. Right? But when she realizes that she basically is being protected by a genuine psychopath because she's pregnant, you can see the look of abject terror in her face. And in my head, I saw this as a moment of nonverbal communication for acting. We don't know what's scarier to her more. Having your bodyguard be the person whose entire belief system is the most disturbing and disgusting to you. Essentially, again, a GOP insert. Technically, the GOP exists in this world, but their GOP is different from our GOP because, apocalypse happened. Is now trying to act like they're your best friend. They love you. They respect you. Because you both shared a moment of vulnerability. And also realizing, oh shit, I may not have a choice and have to stay with her. Because I can't really defend myself. I can't really do too much shit because she's in stage 1 pregnancy. And as we know, pregnancy is the most dangerous in the first 12 weeks. That's the highest chance of ruining it. Right? But on top of it, she's bringing her child into a world where he is going to be considered a messiah by some, and he is going to be hunted for assassination by many others. When I realized that that's what's going through her head, bro, the empathy hit me so hard. Now, I'm not somebody who's not incapable of empathy, but empathy in a TV show, it usually has to be small, innocent children getting fucked over or elderly people getting fucked over, Yeah. But when I said that in my head, I almost felt a tear. I didn't have a tear, but I almost felt a tear come out. So I was just like, man, she started off so humble and sweet, and she just kept getting dealt a shit hand after shit hand after shit hand. And for my final favorite moment, I got to give it to the introduction of our primary group trying to get to hoof it to California, which is Yorick, 355, and Professor Man or Dr. Man, who isn't a man, just so we're clear, and man is spelled with 2 N's. It's an Asian lady. Now, this is where I'm going to talk about the book a little bit. They did her character justice because she's a fucked up asshole. She was trying to imply that she couldn't have a baby or was trying to find a way to create a baby, and the world of science rejected it. But it's actually a lot simpler than that and kind of fucked up. She's trying to asexually reproduce, but she's not being allowed on the federal level to do it. But she's still trying to find ways to get around it. But the main reason she can't find a man isn't so much, because I don't want one. I don't need no man. I'm a strong, independent woman. No, it's because she's a terrible fucking human being. It's like, now, I don't know if you've seen this before, and this pisses me off. I never know what to say, but I stay quiet because I know I will only make it worse by telling the abject truth to somebody being a dick, which that's the easiest way to piss them off. Yeah. You ever go into a situation where somebody's happy that they just got married, or they're happy that they just had their baby, people are congratulating them, and they're happy for them naturally, they're asking questions, and then out of nowhere, there's somebody that no one's talking to, no one gave a shit about, no one asked the opinion, and they go, yeah, I don't really do babies. They're too much of a hassle for me. I'm like, motherfucker, you know damn well you fat and ugly and you got a terrible personality. Why are you shitting on babies like they did something to you? Everybody around here trying to be happy. You don't want to be happy? Shut the fuck up. You don't want them to talk about their happiness? Shut the fuck up. Put in some earphones. Or they'll do my personal favorite. Ugh. I hate when she got married. She turned into a different person. Yeah, she's always talking about her husband. Yeah, I hate that bitch. Shut the fuck up too. You just insecure and petty. You wish you were her. You would be doing the same thing if you were getting fucking married. Or got married. Yeah. Those girls. When you see this character trying to manipulate, but at the same time befriend Yorick, and then trying to run away from the only person who is capable of keeping them alive without a hidden agenda, at least I think so, it's not really clear, 355, right when they all first met. Let me get a sip of water. You're a fucking problem. But because they had that schism, it made them fun to watch, because whatever happened to them was not going to be stale and formulaic. They weren't just going to go be nice to each other and take a trip down to California in an RV. Nope, that would be too simple. You also didn't see a foolproof plan of, Professor to run away with Yorick because, she want to secretly get her baby sauce and shit like that. Nope. I can't tell you what happened, but the dichotomy they had before they start liking each other or respecting each other mutually was very interesting to watch, because you rarely get those kinds of people together. You got a genuine Asperger's syndrome filled asshole. You got the hardcore no nonsense, I am actually taking this as seriously as you guys aren't taking this seriously. And then there's Yorick being a little bitch. To see them, to see them come together in any sense, way, shape, and form, and just bond and respect each other. And, well, I'll say Yorick and 355 had some growth. Professor Man, if she was going to have some character development, it wasn't going to be till season 2. Essentially, all she did was, quote unquote, apologize for her behavior, but she didn't really become a better fucking person.
Yeah, she has not had any of that kind of development stuff at all. I mean, like, I'll say, like, for my, time in military, there's nothing that brings people together like trials and tribulations, like share just shitty situation. Definitely brings people together. Like, people who just have completely different lots of things, they'll come together.
Oh, I know. Like, the military, now don't get me wrong, I've always been a firm believer of sometimes people don't know shit, especially when politics are involved. But the military is really what showed me that there are people who want to try to steer this country in the right direction. There are people who don't want to openly condone or support racism, homophobia, blah, 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 blah. But they don't know that they're being lied to and manipulated by the GOP or a scumbag cell in the DNC who's going to stab you in the back and not do half the shit you want, because we, for every one Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, we got like fucking 50 insert any popular backstabber DNC person, Hillary, Bill, I don't really care, just anybody. They don't realize that, so they don't know they're supporting someone who's detrimental to what they actually want. And I understand that, but also I learned that tribalism is stupid and it's fervent in the military. Because there are motherfuckers who don't care if you prove them right or wrong. They just care if you make them feel right or wrong. And those are truly some of the most ignorant dumbasses you will meet on the planet. And they're the type of people who are going to get out of the military, think that they're going to coast for 10 years and then jump back in and be mad that they can't make money or maintain a living and burn through like 2 or 3 different fucking wives or husbands. Like, having this but here's the thing. That type of differentiation in personalities and thinking in a TV show where everybody's basically an independent, seeing them group up when they have no business even trying to even be around each other. Beautiful, beautiful storytelling. And that's why I like the show, because this show was 99% good writing. 99% good writing. And the other 1% was an element of crazy or erratic randomness, which I like because it stopped things from getting stale. Because if you told me, and sorry to bring her up again, but I'm not. I'm totally not. If you told me that Jess Salguero, aka Christina Flores, was gonna go from essentially the secretary of the president of the United States, I'm sorry, presidentitress of United States, I'm trying to make that a thing, to
Presidentitress?
Yes, presidentitress.
Don't me like you've been able to get canceled on Twitter for everything this entire conversation's about.
To being
completely canceled
by literally the end of the series, unfortunately, because it was only one season. By the end of the series, to being one of the most interesting characters, and not just because of her face and nose and legs, of course, was going to be one of the most interesting characters in the entire series to me. I wouldn't have believed you. If you told me Roxanne, aka crazy psychopath, wannabe Xena warrior princess obsessed motherfucker. If you told me point blank, that her line of thinking was gonna show what happens when you act like that, not just talk about it and then leave it alone or comicalize it, not sure if that's a word, and make it a jocose element of the show. You actually see where that degrading logic ends. I wouldn't have believed you. Because I can tell you right now where it ends for most dudes, because I've seen it all the time, but I rarely see it in TV. Shit talking dudes who say fuck all women, but they always want to fuck younger women. They got a wife that they hate and don't respect because they didn't never learn to love the woman that they were with. Not because their wife is necessarily an asshole, but they literally thought they had to get married for the sake of getting married because they're from old school logic, not realizing you should marry someone based on how you want to treat each other and how they make you feel, not just fucking one without the other. And also, if they're not a goddamn genuine idiot, or you're a goddamn genuine idiot so you don't get manipulated and shit. Bro, it was so fucking good, the writing on this. They did a good job trying to adapt this, because unlike Cowboy Bebop live action, which hopefully that's the last time I have to bring that shit up this year, unlike that show,
because I was catching up on Cowboy Bebop to actually watch that, so
oh my god,
I heard it wasn't terrible.
Please don't hurt yourself.
It wasn't terrible,
bro. Here's the worst part: the fucking writer decided to make it a comic book because he still has the license, but he can't get a show out. And it's based off the live action shit. And instead of just continuing and fucking with the old story. Oh my god.
We're talking about why an actual good movie or a good show. So
it's like they woke up and said, hey, I got a good idea. Why don't we ruin something that didn't need to be ruined? No one would have had a problem with the show if they just respected the source material instead of pretending they did. But no. Well, Netflix screwed him over. They told them to make the episodes double the length. It's like, well, then you just have 2 plot points from the old show show up in it, or you do a split cast perspective. You spend half the episode with one group, half the episode with another, or have everybody in one episode going through the whole thing, and then they get split up at the end and then continue the next episode. There was so many better ways they could have handled the shit. But anyways,
why?
Yeah,
the movie. Why the TV series?
Yeah.
Why the Last Man?
I know. That's what I'm talking about now. I'm back on it. So, what I feel is just that their group dichotomy is something I like, because Yorick, you don't know when Yorick's going to stop being a little child. You don't know if Yorick is going to have issues at random. You don't know if 355 is even fucking psychologically stable, because again, everything with 355 is fucking weird. Right? And then Man shows up at the end and she completely destabilizes them even more than they were already destabilized. But she realizes eventually that, okay, I don't know what to do here and I need to fall in line. But that's not character development. That's self-preservation. Anyways, all right, moving on. I want to try to keep this short, but you say what you're going to say. Would you recommend this show?
Yeah. I mean, For one, I'm the only person in your group, it seems, that has also watched this. And I watched all of it. Like, I have a 3-episode rule with any TV series I watch. I will give it 3 episodes because that is the most number of episodes I have seen a show go from being to being really good. So I give every show 3. Dude, I binge watched this in 2 days and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm like, when's season 2? Like, it was a very well done
bad news.
Zach, this is not the reason you want me coming out to visit you. Like, this is not. Don't tell me. I already know. Just don't tell me, because it's not the reason you want me to come out to visit you. It's because you give me this bad news.
I mean, I would tell you to come out just to go to a water park convention, but that's just me. So, yeah, it's. All right. Well, for me. Yes, I would also recommend this show. But here's the fucked up part. Guess who I would recommend it to?
Who?
GOP fuckboys and Marjorie Taylor Greene personally. Literally, I'm not even joking. Because this is my shut the fuck up, everyone knows you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, or shut the fuck up, we know you insecure litmus test. Like how people talking about their baby when it's born, showing people their baby when they got back from work after, 6-7 months and shit. Yeah. And everyone wants to see the kid. That person goes, yeah, kid's too much of a hassle for me. Like, yeah. Yeah. First off, who the fuck asked you? But, here's the thing. If you watch this show and you think it sucks because there's no men in it, like they don't do fucking flashbacks, or because you saw a YouTube person, not necessarily It's a Gundam, but people similar to It's a Gundam, or right-wing leaning or implied right-wing leaning, again, not just It's a Gundam, people shitting on the show who did not watch it, and you've decided that they're right and they control your brain. This is how I know you're full of shit and you're just a stereotyper. Now, as far as Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'd make her watch it just to torture her because, she's Marjorie Taylor Greene. I would, if I can distract her with anything, even if it's a piece of bacon on a string, I'm going to do it because the less I have to hear, see, and think about Marjorie Taylor Greene, the better I feel. As far as I'm concerned, this may be a form of torture for her. And the other people I would have watch it are, well, this may be risque. People just starting high school, like literally 13 and 14-year-olds. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because it doesn't matter who you are, you have certain beliefs and opinions that you don't know aren't facts, objective facts. Because no one has told you that these are not objective facts. AKA, you may have a confirmation bias problem. And this show right here might actually fix that shit. Or it may make you more comfortable around, LGBT plus people. Or people that are different from you, sexually speaking, and whatnot. Because I can't prove it because I don't think I've seen any. The only proof I've seen is that there is a level of healthiness to learning about people that are different from you, but you don't need a fucking rocket scientist to tell you that. Any anthropologist can tell you it's healthy to learn about people that are different from you. But I grew up having RuPaul. Now, I know RuPaul is one of the only celebrities ever that I've seen have, for lack of a better term, a renaissance. As in, they were popular in one era, somehow like went away and came the fuck back stronger than ever. But I've been seeing RuPaul since 1995, 96, right? So I naturally was able to, or I got accustomed to the concept, although be it impartially, because technically RuPaul is not a trans, of trans people, because I had that middle step of drag queens. In fact, when I hear the word drag queen, my first thought is RuPaul. And mind you, my parents didn't, talk shit to me, talk down about them. And also, hey, Looney Tunes used to be on repeat reruns all the time when I was little. You know how many times I've seen Bugs Bunny put on a dress?
I mean, Powerpuff Girls with that one villain.
Oh
I
yeah,
forget.
Mojo Jojo putting on a dress, and then there's also him. Yeah, I think him was actually him is a weird situation because him was not meant to be evil because they were trans or cross-dresser. They were just meant to be evil in general. And if memory serves, I think they said the basis for him was the Joker. So I had middle steps.
Dude,
Y'all ain't-
cartoons back in our day were just like wild. I see cartoons now, I'm just like, what is happening? Like it's just wild. Like our stuff was just wild and off the rails, and I loved it.
We had a lot better writing too. People feel how they feel about Steven Universe. You ain't gonna convince me Rebecca Sugar's not fucked in the head, but that writing was not good. You want some good writing? Go fuck with the original version of Powerpuff Girls. Not because every time they fuck with Powerpuff Girls after the original creators got done with it and brought it back, it just kept getting worse. You get to the beginning Powerpuff Girls, you good. Like
Dude,
that
what's wrong
was
with
good
Teen Titans?
Oh yeah,
Teen
well,
Titans
it wasn't like really no LGBT plus in Teen Titans though, but it was good writing on that one too. So
I'm just saying, good writing in general.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I would recommend this to, people who think they're not transphobic and homophobic, but they keep condoning and supporting the people that are. This is my litmus test to figure it out. And the other group of people I would give it to is the YA, young adult, which I don't know why they use that term because they're not young adults. Category of like from 12 to 15. At that point, if you're older than that, you can determine if you want to watch them. But 12 to 15s, because when they see it and they realize that, okay, these are still humans and they will treat them like humans, if they are capable of empathy or just not a fucking ignorant dumbass and stupid to the core like Tulsi Gabbard and Marjorie Taylor Greene, they may be more comfortable around them. And if they're more comfortable around them, they can ask them questions, they can get to know them, they can talk to them. And if they're comfortable doing that, they can learn things to do, learn things not to do, and hopefully distinguish between the difference between this trans person's opinion and this trans person's fact. Because I've told all my trans friends, and I've only got like 4, 5 now. I hate Dennis Riley. Also, Dennis Riley threw me for a loop because if that's your name when you transitioned, what the fuck was your name beforehand? But Dennis Riley is basically the closest the trans community gets to a Ben Shapiro. She makes shit up, pulls it out of her ass, and tries to present it off as a fact because someone pissed her off that day. Dennis Riley was one of the leading people who created that little mindset of, oh, if you won't date a trans woman because you're trans, you're transphobic and you anti-LGBT plus. No. Because first off, what if they just don't like you as a person? B, you're extremely unattractive to them. Or C, you're Riley Dennis. I'm just saying. And there are people who are even scared to admit that they hate someone who is trans because they don't want to be viewed as, anti or some form of phobic. No. Hatred is universal. Anybody can catch the hands of hatred. I hate Riley Dennis as a person. If Riley Dennis wasn't trans, I would probably still hate Riley Dennis. I don't like Riley Dennis or respect Riley Dennis as a person. I feel like their job is to get attention through negative means to try to get money and profit. Essentially, Riley Dennis is Ben Shapiro to me.
Yeah. Like, you can't ask the world to be understanding and accept you for who you are if you're not willing to accept other people.
No, just don't even be nicer. You can't preach compassion and empathy and respect for your fellow human man and civility when you are arrogant, entitled piece of shit. Whether you're Marjorie Taylor Greene or Riley Dennis. Yeah. You both can catch the collective hands of hatred.
Yeah.
All right. With that being said, thank you for watching the show, or rather remembering to watch the show. There was about 4 people that said they would, and well, only half of them did it.
It was a great show. I really enjoyed it. I'm really sad that season 2 probably will not happen. Because
unless they sell the rights to like Netflix or something.
They should. They honestly
Mhm.
should. Like Netflix will pick this up, and I think
No, I
Netflix will
totally
do a
agree.
better job.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also, you know, for those of you listening, and also you, Witch King, if you're curious how to continue the show, or rather how to get your fix after the show is ended, there will be a link in the description to where you can go and buy the actual book, because the entire series is finished, and I have nothing to say but happy happy reading. With that being said, I will see you guys when I see you guys.
Y'all take care.
And I'm also going to give you the link too.
No, that's fair.
Well, I know you can't click it, but you'll be able to find it.
Okay. I found it now. Yeah.